play another game for the franchise. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Simmons is well aware the team can fine and or suspend him or even withhold his salary, but so far he appears willing to carry out his plan of forcing his way to a new team. The Sixers haven't yet found a trade they're willing to make for him. Simmons will eventually get his wish, believes Philly Inquirer Sixers reporter Keith Pompey.
You look at it, the Brooklyn Nets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, all of those three teams are going to be locked and loaded and ready to go, so to speak. The longer the Sixers wait to trade Ben Simmons, they're going to fall further and further behind those other teams. Also, it's going to be a circus. Like, everyone's going to, where's Ben? Where's Ben?
Keith Pompey on Canty and Golick Jr. NFL Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has a left pectoral injury, may affect his ability to prepare for Sunday's game versus Cincinnati. Browns receiver Jarvis Landry on IR. That means he's out at least the next 3 weeks.
Getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit is another reason banking with Capital One is one of the easiest decisions in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One N.A., member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We looked at it, and then I actually talked to Josh today. In 17, 18, 19, we go back, and I know that was recent history, but he's one of the best in the NFL. And the thing I told him is that since I got here in February, since our staff got here, he's as hardworking guy as any guy on the team. So I have confidence he's going to work through this. I know the GM and personnel department's job is to see what's out there and all that. I'm convinced this guy can come through it. I see the way he works. I see the way he hits it. And I've stuck with kickers before, and it's been great dividends. So as of now, we're going to stick with him.
That is Urban Meyer on Monday talking about not this Josh, but his Josh Lambo, that is, for the Jags, who's 0 for 3 on the season, and everybody's panicking, and maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, 55-yarder, 52-yarder, 48-yarder. If I was Lambo's agent, I'd be like, guys, it's 3 kicks, and it's 55, it's 52, it's 48. But with everything else going on in Jacksonville, everything's in panic mode. And we won't panic here. We'll just have some fun over the next hour. It's Tuesdays at Topgolf. Brent Martineau, Josh Scobee, Austin Lane. As you can watch on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and you can listen just about anywhere. All the apps, ESPN690.com, in your car. Josh Scobee, what's happening, man?
Hey, just another beautiful day.
Just another beautiful day. Beats Mondays.
Yes.
Tuesdays are better than Mondays.
What do they call it, the 24-hour rule?
Yes.
Most coaches have that rule. Unfortunately, the media does not, so we continue to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, should we be talking about Josh Lambo?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Obviously not off to the start that he wanted or the team wanted for him. But like you were saying, he's had attempts of 55, 52, and 48 now. It's not exactly easy kicks. I wish he would have made them all. If he had made them all, we'd be saying he's the best kicker in the NFL, and there's no questions asked. But now, if you look on social media, people want him fired and replaced, and it's a tough way to start out the season. And obviously he's coming off of the hip injury, and people are questioning that. A couple things I saw with his mechanics looked a little goofy. I have no idea what that means in terms of the injury. I'm just hoping that he gets it straightened out because he's been really good for this team, and I think he's going to be good eventually. It's going to take him making one and go from there. It's kind of like golf. You hit one good shot and your confidence is back. Yeah,
because right now, to be honest, I said this to Austin the other day, this guy couldn't miss. And now if he goes out there on Sunday on a 47-yarder, I'm like, gosh, I hope he makes it. That's the fan base. That's everybody. That's probably Urban Meyer. And right now I sense that's even him. It's probably not. I'm sure he's fully confident, but it doesn't feel it. The thing that concerned me, I went down and visited Ty, section 203, and it's right in line with the crossbar. And the second one, it's not even the miss. He didn't have the distance, man. So he probably just miskicked it. I don't know what that says because he had distance other than that last week at 55. And then I think even at warm-ups at halftime, he was kicking them from 60. So did he just flat out miss it?
Yeah, it seemed like he mishit both of them pretty bad. The first one especially, it's kind of like whenever you hit it on your toe when you're golfing, the ball just kind of goes high and spins. It doesn't go very far.
It flails out there.
Yeah, it just doesn't – it's the worst hit you can have. it just doesn't go anywhere. And that one looked really bad. The 48-yarder looked better. He just didn't hit it with enough power to drive it through, and it just drifted on him. But that one, to me, I saw that his plant foot was like really close to the ball. So he had to basically move his body to the left and try and compensate for it, and eventually it just drifted left and he missed. So he's going through some things right now, and it's a tough start to the season. I'm sure Urban Meyer has talked to him a lot and probably isn't happy with him, and I guarantee they brought in other kickers today to work out, maybe under the radar, but he's just going to have to work through it, and hopefully he'll be fine.
So when Josh Lambo misses the first one, and I watched him come to the sidelines, you can tell he was very frustrated, wasn't really talking to anybody, but like he seemed to be in his own little world of just frustration and venting. Now I get, like, kickers are all different, right? I mean, I'm sure you're different in terms of personality than Josh Lambo is, but like I watched him sit on the bench by himself, and I sensed like that's going to linger with you. Like that kick that you just missed that wasn't even close, that's going to linger with you. And lo and behold, it did linger with him because he missed the next one. Like, if you miss a kick, and it was a bad miss, whatever he shanked it, whatever we don't call it, it was a bad miss.
We don't say that word.
Sorry.
We don't.
But, okay, my bad.
I don't like the S word.
We don't say that word with golf clubs around here.
I got you. But when you do miss it like you did, how much does that stick with you for the rest of the game, and how hard is it to get out of that funk?
Well, anytime you miss a kick, it could be the first kick of the game, it could be the last kick of the game. Yeah. You're hoping to get out there like as soon as you can to make the next one so you can forget about that one. And the thing I always tried to do was not miss 2 in a row. Unfortunately, I did that 3 or 4 times in my career. But what you're trying to do is figure out what happened with the first kick and move on. Like, correct it in your mind, talk to your holder and your snapper, figure it out between the 3 of you, and then move on. And hopefully you get another field goal attempt, another extra point attempt really soon so you can move on mentally and make the next kick and build some confidence for the rest of the game.
Why do kicks miss? Is it mostly timing or is it mechanics?
It's typically mechanics. Timing, it's something that it's so fractional that it doesn't matter that much. It more matters if you have, rushers coming in to block it. That's what timing is for. But if it's a bad snap, that can screw up the timing. If it's a bad hold, that can screw up the kicker's thoughts on it as he's approaching the ball. But as a kicker, you're trying to pretend and assume that the snap is going to be perfect, the hold is going to be perfect, so you're trying to do the same thing over and over and over. And what I saw from Lambo, it doesn't look like he's doing the same things over and over and over and repeating his process. So he's obviously working through some things, and hopefully he can get it going.
So when we talk about missing, 2 field goals in one game, and obviously you come from, being at home where you've never missed a field goal, now you missed 2 of them.
He got the announcer jinx on that one by Jay Feely,
by the way. No, for sure. But now,
it was an incredible
coming
stat,
into this
though.
week's practice,
absolutely.
Though, when we see this week's practice with Josh Lambo, what is that like now? Because you guys more than anybody are creatures of habit, right?
Yep.
You have your same routine. Do you change your routine now to try to balance it of missing those 2 field goals? Do you kick more? Do you kick less? How do you handle that?
I think if you press with anything, any sport, any position, then you're just going to get worse.
Okay.
You can work harder, but pressing and trying to force something, you're just going to get worse. I'm assuming that he's going to come out tomorrow for their first day of practice and want to work really hard and show Urban Meyer and the coaching staff that was a fluke the other day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he doesn't need to press and try and force anything and get into bad habits. And, I've done that in the past, and it did not work out to my favor. So he has what it takes. It's just going to take going out the next game, making a kick, and going 1 for 1 over and over and over. Don't worry about the whole game. Worry about 1 for 1 and go from there.
Let me ask you one more on this. You said everybody has, troubles, travails, trials, whatever in their career, whether it's Austin at defensive end, you at kicker, Josh Lambo right now at kicker. There's no doubt conversation between Urban Meyer and Lambo. He said that. He's like, yeah, we looked into bringing some guys in and maybe making a move, but I'm going to stick with them. What are the conversations like? Is that like a heated conversation, or is it like, hey, you got this, man? Is he just trying to build him up? Because, seriously, you look at the resume, you're like, I don't know if I want to give up on this resume.
Exactly.
Because exactly what Urban said. And Urban said when he's stuck with a kicker, it usually works out. So what do you think the conversation's like? I know you don't know Urban Meyer and how he coaches, but what would that be like?
It just depends on the coach, really. And, everything that I hear about Urban, he's going to be pretty open with his players. So I'm assuming that they spoke yesterday, like probably came in, lifted weights, went to meetings, and then they probably spoke after that and had an open conversation. And I guarantee Urban was encouraging to him, but at the same time trying to not force the issue, but tell him, like, listen, we need you to make those kicks. I know they're long kicks, but we need you to make them. And I guarantee Josh Lambo is the only person in Jacksonville right now that feels like he's fine. Everyone else doesn't feel like that, but I guarantee he feels like he's fine.
Yeah, do you whether it's Del Rio or wherever you've been coaching, maybe it was college, maybe it was high school, is it if you miss a kick and you know the heat is on, are you like not even looking at the coach? Is it usually something you hear from the coach or something that the coach looks at you in a certain way, you're like, my time might be limited?
Yeah. I mean, they showed him, a couple times whenever he was walking off the field with his head down. And you typically, after you miss a kick, you want to get off the field as fast as you can. Don't walk because they don't like to see that.
Yeah.
You jog off the field and don't glance toward the coach. Just kind of just look where you're going and walk like this. And I saw, one time that was it Andrew Wingard walked over, made him push his head up. I didn't like that. I probably would have pushed him away. I just don't like that. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing, but it was still a teammate being a teammate and trying to keep his head up. But you typically don't want the coach to say anything to you. Del Rio was really good about that.
Was he?
He wouldn't say anything to me. He only did a couple times, and it was never that bad. Other coaches were worse. They would come over and want to talk to you about things, and I'm like, I wanted to tell them, you don't know what you're talking about, so why don't you go back over there?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I did that one time to a head coach, and he called me into his office the next day, but we won't get into who that was.
But no, I mean, it's an interesting standpoint because you make a great point here, Josh, where it's like, all right, if I mess up on defense, Del Rio's coming to talk to me. He's like, hey, what happened on that, on that run? Okay, that was my bad. I got blown on my gap. Cool. But if you miss a field goal, they don't know what they're talking about.
No.
They really don't. And they're football coaches. They're the generals. They oversee everything. But you're a general of a position that you have no idea what's going on.
Well, not even. Hey, Austin, special teams coach has never been a kicker.
Yeah,
true.
Right?
For the most part, they don't know
think.
what they're talking about either. They'll come and talk to you, but typically every special teams coach will give you a few seconds to process it, talk to your holder, talk to your snapper, and then come and talk to you about it. And, get a sense for how you're feeling, because you never want to run over to a player, especially kickers, as soon as they're running off the field and just get on to them, because it just doesn't do any good.
It's a mental game. It's a huge mental position.
And maybe I'm super naive here, Josh, but there aren't kicking specialist coaches? Should there be? Would you like to be? There should be.
There are a handful of teams now that have strictly kicker, punter, snapper coaches.
Yeah.
And
really,
naturally, those are the best specialists in the world right now. Baltimore is the only team in the NFL that has one guy that strictly does that.
Dang.
The only team in the NFL.
Gosh.
And it's weird how it's 2021, and he's been doing this for 9 or 10 years now, and they're the best team in the NFL when it comes to kicker, punter, snapper.
Wow. How about it's surprising here in Jacksonville where Urban Meyer has 46 coaches, too, that he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Urban, give me a shout.
I was going to say, Josh, would you be interested in doing that?
Listen, I've reached out.
Wow.
And there's been no reply, so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that exists. I didn't know I know the Ravens are always good on special teams, but everybody attributes that to John Harbaugh's past in special teams.
You would think.
Justin Tucker being so good right
Correct.
now, right?
That helps. But they have.
I mean, I feel like I could coach Justin Tucker a little bit.
For
sure.
Be like, Justin, cross your eyes, kick left-footed, you'll be fine. But yes.
But Brent, you know what it reminds me of too? You see a guy like Jordan Palmer, who, I shared the locker room with a couple of years, but Jordan Palmer is one of the best quarterback gurus right now, for college guys coming to the NFL. And, with all due respect to Jordan Palmer, he didn't have a storied NFL career, but the guy knows his stuff. I mean, I think with Scobee, he's had a pretty storied NFL career, and he also knows his stuff. So,
it's
why
pretty
don't you take advantage of that?
That's a really good call. But, I mean, it's very unique in sports I never really thought about it this way, but it's very unique in sports that your coach has not, or a coach has not experienced the thing that you're experiencing as a player in some way, shape, or form. I mean, you might not have played at the NFL level, but you might have done it. I mean, seriously, there's a special teams guy. Most special teams guys have never kicked or punted.
Just about every single one of them, yes.
Wow.
Or long snapped, for that matter,
but
right?
For good reason. Most special teams coaches were tight ends, linebackers, or position players at some level because they're essentially like a head coach too, because they have to deal with more players than the head coach does on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So they know.
And a revolving door usually, right?
Exactly. A very large revolving door because they're dealing with the bottom third of the roster with special teams players. So they don't typically know what they're talking about when it comes to kicking and punting, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to them.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear you talk about walking off the field like after a miss. It reminds me of like in baseball, you used to have a coach say, if you get picked off, it's the loneliest walk back to the dugout of all.
Especially at
more
first.
than a strikeout or anything else. Yeah. You get picked off, that is a lonely walk back to the dugout. And that's what it kind of reminds you of in the kicking game. We'll see if Josh Lambo gets it right. I do kind of like that he's sticking with him. Again, I'm a little frustrated by it too, mostly because of Trevor Lawrence. I just think, like, my take on it is nobody's helping Trevor right now. Trevor's going to make some mistakes. He might not be playing perfect. But these guys that are supposed to be making plays around him are not. And Lambo now gets included in that because as bad as the offense looked the other day, if Lambo makes those 2 kicks, which he has done historically, the Jags are up 13-10. And this offense that we're talking about sputtering and being so bad scores on 3 of the first 5 possessions. You know, they have scoring drives on 3 of 5 possessions. Might not make up for 189 yards. You might not win the game even, but it feels a little different in terms of what we're talking about with Trevor Lawrence. So from DJ Chark to the offensive coordinator to the offensive line to everybody, it just feels like people have to make plays for Trevor Lawrence, and even the kicker isn't right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I always remember, you know, if I missed a kick, especially a long one like that, I was hoping that the defense would kind of bail me out because you miss a 52-yard field goal, you're leaving the defense in a bad spot. The offense for the other team gets it at the 42-yard line in good field position. So it's a big change, a big flip-flop there, and unfortunately that's just the way it turned out. I don't know if they scored on those 2 possessions, but if they did, even if they didn't, they put our offense in a bad position if they punted. So those were obviously big kicks, and it would have been a big-time change if we had actually made them.
You know, we were talking in the press box, and we noticed because it was raining a little bit, and we saw Josh Lambo. He had, like, the towel over his cleats, which is pretty common, I would feel like. But
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I know. Kickers are
I don't
kickers,
know, I'm
man.
just asking. I'm not
no,
poking fun. I'm just asking.
But what it reminds me of it, and I got on this topic a little bit, but I couldn't remember who the player was. We played in Carolina, I think it was my second year. And Scobee, and you were there, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember it was the rainiest game you're ever going to imagine. And coming out of the locker room, there was a giant puddle that you couldn't hop over around. And I remember one of our teammates, I forgot who the guy was, gave you a piggyback ride so your shoes wouldn't get wet, so your socks wouldn't get wet. Can you take us through that process of what happened, who that player was, and why he had to do that for you?
So, that was 2011 at Carolina, and it started like a monsoon. It was a beautiful day, and all of a sudden a cloud came over the stadium, and it was kind of like one of those cartoons where the cloud just stops, and it rained for an hour, like a monsoon, and there were waterfalls coming out of the second level onto the field, and we went in for halftime. So I changed my socks, my cleats, everything, so it's all dry. Come back out to the tunnel, and it's a foot deep water. And I'm just looking at it going, I'm not going to run through this. I just changed everything. This is ridiculous. And it was Daryl Smith.
I thought it was Buck. Yeah.
So he's like, hey, jump on my back. So I jumped on his back, and he carried me through it. And that's just how good of a teammate he was.
Oh, for sure.
We ended up losing that game. We should have won it. But someone took a picture of that and sent it to me. And I have that framed in my house because it was such a cool picture. And there were people like Carolina Panther fans yelling at me, making fun of me and whatnot. But I didn't care. My feet stayed dry, and I made all my kicks that game. And I still, every now and again, I'll see Daryl, and I remind him of that. And, he was a good dude.
Story.
And actually, that got brought up the next day after we lost in the team meeting.
Yeah.
And they pulled up that picture
Yeah.
and said, this is what being a good teammate is.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, and that's the thing. I'll never forget it because we're all coming out of the locker room and we see this giant puddle, and I'm like, well, there's no way
Everyone
around
had
it.
to run
I'm
through
like,
it.
well, this sucks. And then I see Scobee kind of trotting past me on Daryl Smith's back. I'm like, yeah, I see
makes
it.
a lot of sense.
Must be
but I
nice.
did this, like
Damn
the picture
kickers.
of me doing this. Like, I'm like riding a horse.
But Josh makes up a great point, though. It's a testament to what type of player Daryl Smith was. Because, like, and I don't know if I assume you didn't ask him to do that. He just said,
No,
hey, get on my back.
I was standing there just kind of,
That's the type of-
dumbfounded. And
What are
he
you
just
gonna
goes,
do?
jump on my back.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that's a dude
Hey,
right
that
there.
sounds like good fishing weather. Let's take a break, and as we take one, let's get to the line and bring in Rick Riles, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report, here on a Tuesday evening, and probably catch some fish in Carolina that day, Rick.
No, Brent, I got to tell you, I've known a lot of fishermen, but if one of them asks the other one to give him a piggyback ride through a puddle on the deck, he's going to be on another boat, Brent. That's all I'm saying. There's got to be another boat somewhere that'll take him fishing because he's off of my boat. Fishing's actually been surprisingly good. We're starting to see a little bit of our fall blue water fishing. I talked to Captain Robert Johnson today, and he said that Jason Haddock on the J-hook had just come in, and he had 3 or 4 blackfin tuna, had a wahoo and a couple of mahi. Not great trolling, but we don't expect great trolling yet. We expect it to be starting, and it seems like it certainly is. No shortage of mangrove snapper, no shortage of mutton snapper, or even a handful of grouper around the break. The deep water fishing's been real good. But I got to tell you, even if you're not a fisherman, but if you're a nature lover, you need to be at the beach one of these early mornings. The mullet run is on, and just about everything that swims is attacking the mullet in the surf right now. You'll see tarpon jump clear of the water. You'll see more sharks than you want to see. There's redfish. There's everything is packed in tight to the beach, feeding on all the mullet that head to South Florida this time of year. Inshore spectacular. Captain David Voorhees said he can't get over how aggressive the redfish have been based on only a couple of temperature degree drop that we've seen in the intercoastal. Tomorrow's going to be good. Thursday, things change dramatically. We've got what would have to be called a cool front coming. But what's important to the fishermen is here comes 18 to 20 knots of northeasterly wind. They won't be doing any fishing this weekend. I highly recommend that you get it in tomorrow.
Captain Rick, thanks, man. Appreciate the call, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Brent. We'll be back tomorrow with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing. See you later, guys.
All right, have a
See you,
good
man.
one. That is Captain Rick Riles, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Catch him each and every day here on Action Sports Shacks, and also on Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. All right, let's take a break. Tuesdays at Topgolf with Josh Scobee. We got piggyback rides. We're talking kicking. We got a little dad life coming up as well. We got a baseball story, Scobee says. I wonder where that's going. We'll be back. Action. Let's see if any more swearing in front of Ronan for Austin Lane. Oh, no, he was in the press box. He was sent to the press box.
Thank God I was in the press box,
Yeah.
Brent, but there was swearing in the press box.
Yeah, there was that. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Yep.
Almost had to fight someone in the press box.
Yeah, let's not go there, though, unless you want to.
Yeah, we'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Tracking a few lingering downpours and showers with mostly cloudy skies this evening on First Alert Doppler HD. Overnight, we drop down to the low 70s, upper 80s tomorrow, mostly cloudy with some scattered rain and a few thunderstorms. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Beadenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Now you can buy like a dealer buys. Save thousands on thousands of diamonds for a limited time at Beards Diamonds.
Been thinking about selling your car? Think you can get more selling it on your own? That can be a big hassle, not to mention scary too. Find out what your vehicle is really worth with the coolest technology available. ACV Auctions will be in Jacksonville Friday and Saturday, October 1st and 2nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can drive in, have your vehicle scanned, and watch as hundreds of auto dealers bid on it in a live auction setting. You can sell it on the spot or just find out what it's worth. It's that easy, and it's free. Proudly hosted by the Tom Bush family of dealerships. 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
Hey, it's Mark K from the Mark K Show for Galaxy Builders. And if you haven't had your roof inspected in the last year, you clearly have not been listening to what I've been telling you. Galaxy Builders, that should be your first phone call because insurance companies are now doing drive-bys. And if they notice even one single shingle, which is tough to say, out of place on your roof, they have a reason to drop you from coverage. Galaxy Builders can inspect your roof and repair any leaks or damaged shingles to keep your insurance provider happy. Go to galaxyfla.com for a free quote. That's galaxyfla.com.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
The clock is ticking on the Honda The Avenue Service Department. That's because they know your time is valuable. They want to get you in and out as fast as possible. And with their express service, you can get in and out in less than an hour with 100% synthetic oil, and they even wash and vacuum your car for you. It's fast at Honda The Avenues. You're on the clock. Hurry to Honda The Avenues. They're on Phillips Highway just south of 295, or shop them online anytime at HondaTheAvenues.com. Get your car serviced fast at Honda The Avenues. Tell them Matt Ray sent you.
Hey, boss. Just got done with Case in Neighborhoods. Hey, have you noticed more Safe Touch security signs in yards lately?
No, I'll bet it's because of back to school.
Back to school?
Yeah. See, back in the old days, parents who worked in the afternoon had no idea when Junior got home from school, right?
Yeah. Oh, but now with Safe Touch, the app lets him know exactly when he walks in the door.
Right. Parents love it. And Safe Touch video monitoring can show him exactly who the precious angel is walking in with.
Oh, I get it. Safe Touch is like an extra pair of eyes for mom and dad.
Right. So the kids are never home alone.
And parents are never away from home.
Precisely. It's also one more reason why we crooks got our golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Simple as 2 + 2.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Temperatures keep climbing and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
My name's Ashley Booth Norris. I am an emergency medicine physician. So COVID doesn't discriminate. Again, it affects people of every age, every race. It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care who you are. It's affecting everyone. And so it's important for you to get vaccinated to protect yourself, those that you love, as well as everyone around you. We're racing against the clock here before the next variant comes around.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Hospital Association, the Florida Medical Association, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Are you an experienced diesel technician that's in fear of losing your job due to the recent vaccine mandates? Bobcat of Jacksonville is a family-owned, mandate-free employer offering great pay and benefits. Apply today at bobcatjacks.com.
G.J. and Max. It's not just as easy as saying Mac Jones is way better than Cam Newton. I think Mac Jones has a chance to be better than Cam Newton. I still think Cam would have been the starter. G.J. and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
At that time,
Peyton had come out of the area that we had, in the back there from the thing. And as soon as that curtain moved, it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin with the glass break, His big-ass head, Eli, you've seen it before, I'm sure, 100 times. As soon as it hits that public area, there's a buzz, Oh, Eli, or Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, especially in French Lick, Indiana. I mean, these people, Jesus Christ, might as well just walked out from behind the curtain. You know what I mean? I mean, that just happened.
Oh, Pat McAfee last night on the Eli and Peyton broadcast. And McAfee said,
he's the best, man.
18 red, and it won.
Yeah.
Everybody changed their Russian roulette.
Russian roulette. No,
roulette. Sorry, roulette.
Hey, there was no gun involved.
Wow. We're not watching the movie
roulette.
The Deer Hunter here. All
By
right.
the way, I love playing roulette. I don't know why I just said Russian roulette. I never hit the zeros, by the way, and I always usually take a bath because of it.
Yeah. Just play red and black.
A lot of people do play the zeros. I don't. 33, you know why? Play 33, especially if I was in French Lick, Indiana.
Because that was my high school basketball number, right?
No, that was Larry Bird's number. That's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, the
Top
roulette
25
table,
player of all
18
time.
red. Now I'm going to start playing 18 red, see if it works.
I like it, man.
He said everybody won
How
on the
about
table.
that red 18? That's
You've heard the story.
Oh, yeah. That's a fantastic story. And if that's 100% true, one of the best stories of all time.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's good.
I think when we talk about Pat McAfee, nobody has done a better job in increasing their brand, increasing just their output more than Pat McAfee the past decade, it seems like.
I've been around him quite a few times, off the field, and he's very, very good at being on all the time.
Yeah.
It's not an act, though. Like, he's like that normally. Mm-hmm. He's very good at what he does, and, I mean, eventually he's going to be in a booth somewhere, and they're going to have, the bleep button, boom.
They
all
needed
the
it a
time
little
on
bit
it.
last night.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't even watch. How did he do last night?
I mean, he did
was a couple.
well. He did well, but he had a couple. I mean, it was edgy. It was close. It was make sure, like in TV land, you're like, did you just say that?
Yeah.
Right? And these days at 11 o'clock at night, you can get away with a lot,
But I was telling Brent this as well. I mean, he calls SmackDown for professional wrestling now.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday. And, I told Brent that he's crushing it.
He's
absolutely
fantastic.
killing it.
Yeah.
He's probably the best announcer they have going right now in professional wrestling.
He's the only reason I watch it.
Yeah.
is how good he is.
It's so entertaining with him.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I played in a golf tournament with him a couple years ago, and he was my partner. And
Nice.
they put him with me because I had the best handicap and he had the worst. And we didn't take a single shot of his all day. We won our match, but he didn't wear shoes to play golf for this 18 holes, and he wore these like Daisy Duke khakis shorts that he just pulled up as high as he could pull them, and he played golf like that the whole time.
Why not?
But he was entertaining and kept me loose, and I might need him as a caddy sometime to keep me loose.
Awesome. Yeah, that will. I tell you, Pat McAfee will keep you loose. All right, just about anywhere he likes to have fun. It's interesting to me how guys get there, right? Because I look at it from a TV perspective or a radio perspective. When you guys, join the ranks or go on, like I said last night, I tweeted it. The brilliance of Peyton Manning is how he gets to a commercial break because they come up so quick the way they're doing the broadcast, and they have to like interrupt the guest or whatever and get him through. And he's so smooth at it. Yeah. Like in our world, like when you grow up in the business even, that's a hard thing sometimes, especially if it's got to be quick and somebody's yelling at you in your ear. He does a fantastic job. It's like he's at the line of scrimmage, even directing the program they're doing. But how you pick out the talent, who's going to be good at it, is sometimes so random. But it's interesting to hear you say, not that surprised McAfee would make it in this kind of world.
I mean, he retired from football after being first-team All-Pro as a punter, and I know he had some injuries or whatnot, but he had a plan. I mean, it didn't – I guarantee it wasn't what he expected, especially what's going on right now, but he had a plan, and his plan is working out right now, and he has a really good team around him that's helped elevate him. And like Austin was saying, I mean, he's doing wrestling, he's doing Monday Night Football, I mean, college football, random things.
He's got Aaron Rodgers on every week, which certainly helps the profile, right?
And he's very fun to be around, and he's really good at what he does. And especially being a former punter, that's impressive.
Yeah,
very impressive.
And I like what you say. It's authentic because that's kind of who he is.
It is very authentic.
Yeah. He told the story last night of the punting. He didn't even punt hardly in college. He was a kicker.
Yep.
And they're like, I think this guy can punt.
Oh, he got drafted. And I've heard him tell this story before. He got drafted, and I think he was out playing golf with his dad or something like that. And as soon as he got drafted, got the phone call, and they told him, the Colts told him that they wanted him to punt. So then he went and started punting. It wasn't like he was refined as a punter. He started practicing punting when they drafted him and ended up being an all-pro punter. And
I mean, that's an athlete right there.
Yeah.
And like, he's been in the wrestling ring. I've seen him do, they call them shooting star presses, but backflips essentially off the top rope.
Yeah.
Like, the guy is a super athlete.
Why do I get the feeling that when you were at Iola Scandinavia, you were tight end, you were defensive end, and you also punted from time to time?
No, not even close. Couldn't punt to save my life.
Like in high school, that happens.
Never been so wrong.
They send the kid back to
for sure.
Anybody, right?
No, you've never been so wrong in your entire life. I couldn't punt to save my life.
Really?
Now, my coach in college, my freshman year, tried me at long snapper in the spring. And, for the spring game was the blue and gold game. I got my start at long snapper, botched 3 of them, went over the punter's head, and he goes, comes silent at my third one. He's like, "Hey, you know what?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're done long snapping."
I'm surprised you got to the third one.
It was a spring game, so it is what it is. I mean, we didn't have a lot of options at Murray State at the time, but 3 of them, and I was done.
A long snapper's not a bad gig if you can be good at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Could you punt? Are you a pretty good punter?
Not pretty good. I mean, in high school I was pretty good, but I got recruited to be a kicker and a punter at Louisiana Tech, but luckily we had a walk-on punter that was better than me, so I didn't have to do both.
Usually we see the punter be an emergency replacement for the kicker. I don't feel like I've seen it too many times, the kicker be the emergency replacement for the punter.
It happens, not very often.
Did you ever have to do it?
Luckily, I never had to do it.
Okay.
But I had it happen where the punter had to come in for me a couple times, and because of injuries. But that's something. Fortunately, I never had to do was go out and punt.
One last one for you. Kickers are and you're a little different here from the kickers' perspective.
Oh, I am different, in a
good way.
Oh, okay.
Well, because kickers can be like goalies in hockey, kind of odd.
But every person's odd. I mean, the difference is
we're in their own little it's isolated world.
It's because it's such a different position than everybody else.
The thing is, it doesn't matter what the score is. When we come in to kick, we have to make the kick. It doesn't matter if we're getting beat 21-0 or it's the last kick of the game to win the game. We have to make the kick. So we can't care what the score is. So essentially, we're not team players.
Yeah.
We're individual players that it doesn't matter what the score is. We have to concentrate on making one kick at a time.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's like swimmers and runners. Like they can be they have to live in their own little world. So I don't know. It's just like they don't seem to always mix in with everybody else. Goalies are all standing on the other end of the ice by themselves, right? And so that's all my perception of all this. Is there any truth to that? Like all your buddies that are kickers, or some of them like, I can see what you're talking about. And are punters the same way? Or punters kind of more the cool cats like McAfee's kind of proven to be?
Typically, punters played football at some point, played at a different position. Pretty much every punter I was around played in high school, maybe played in college, a different position. Same with long snappers. They're typically former tight ends, defensive ends, linebackers, those type of guys. But kickers, most guys, we didn't play football growing up. We played soccer, baseball, like me, and we kind of have to try hard to be one of the guys and talk trash to guys in practice and, kind of fit in. But for me, I didn't have to try to do it. I just enjoyed doing it because it's fun to talk trash to guys when they're coming out of meetings and, I'm watching TV or, on my computer watching something and they're drained and I'm like, hey, guys.
See,
you just accept it, right?
Yeah,
you embrace it.
They embrace it, too, and, come and punch me or something. That's just how
the goalpost. Oh no, that happened to Austin. Sorry.
No, but it's so interesting though with the dynamics of a team and locker room, because I found my rookie year and my second year when Josh was on the team as well. like I would come over to Josh's section. Like when we're in training camp, I would come over and watch TV with Josh, or like watch movies with Josh and take a nap, just because like that was kind of like my sanctuary. Because we had Joe Cohen, we had maximum testosterone 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, we had Jeremy Mincy and Pot Rose going back and forth arguing. It was just, you know, it was a lot to handle as a young guy coming up in the league. And then I go over to hang out with like Pods and Josh Scobee, and they're watching Titanic or whatever. Like, hey, this is – and then we did that, by the way, and you introduced me to that movie. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
But like, I go over there and it's like, dude, this is
Getting piggyback rides.
No, I didn't get a piggyback ride now, but I'm just saying, like, it was a nice break away from Joe Cohen and that whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Settled you down.
I always respected it.
Settled you down.
Hey,
Nice
we joke about that. You know, we talk about Daryl Smith carrying me through the water, being nice about it. He was making up for what he had done the week before. And it was the only time in my career that I was bullied, because one time, you know, we're in the player lounge, I'm watching a movie, and Daryl comes in and, like, wakes me up with the smelling tablets.
Yeah, that's the smelling salts.
And, you know, like, I jump up, and I'm like, I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
So I come in one day, and I'm, you know, talking trash to him. Meanwhile, Daryl and I are the same age. He's actually younger than me, but we came into the league the same year together, same draft class, and he picks me up and throws me in a laundry hamper and drags me around the locker room pouring Gatorade on me and baby powder. And every time I'm trying to get out, he's just pushing me back in. So eventually I just let him do it.
Yeah.
And he just rolled me around the locker room. And I'm like, Daryl, we're the same age, man. I'm like, I'm not a rookie.
Yeah.
So the next week is Carolina, and that happened.
That's awesome.
So I think he was just kind of making up for it.
That's a great story.
Well, and here's the thing about, you know, the kicking position as well, because I've been in a few locker rooms, and you always got the sense that with Scobee, when he was there, like, you knew he was one of the guys. You know, like, every team's got these guys that you depend on, whether they're captains, whether they're the guys that are reliable to help you win a ball game. Well, Scobee did a couple of that times for us. But I'm saying, like, you got the presence and just how people treated him, except for Daryl Smith that one time.
That one time.
Where it was like, you know, this is one of the dudes, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the upper echelon dudes in the locker room. And you got to show him respect. And I always kind of felt that way with Scobee. Even though he's a kicker, and I know they get a bad connotation sometimes, it doesn't matter. I mean, whether you're a kicker, punter, long snapper, if you're one of the dudes, you're one of the dudes. And Scobee was one of the dudes.
You build up equity, too, right?
Absolutely.
You do it a while. I mean, after a while, I'm sure Vinatieri and Tucker and all those guys do.
Yeah.
Now, there are some that probably don't get there because it's 2 years and out or something. But
Exactly.
I don't know if they feel as welcomed as you're making Scobee feel.
Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you do on the field. Like, you still might not be one of the dudes in the locker room.
Yeah.
You have to do both, especially as a specialist. Like, you have to try and put in the effort, because you realize that you're doing a whole lot less than every other person in that locker room in terms of film room, anything on the field, anything on game day, and you're a lot less sore than they are.
Yeah.
So
can't fake that. Can't fake the smelling salts either. They're pretty rough.
That'll wake you up.
I've never had that.
I mean, if you see the guys, you know, in the games now, I watch kickers do it now. Like, before a kickoff, they'll go and whiff these in their nose.
Yeah.
And it's like you're getting a shot of cocaine right before you do a kickoff. I mean, it gets your heart pounding, and it wakes you up. A lot of guys will, like, put them in a water bottle, shake them up, sniff them, and it's just ammonia. That's basically what it is. And it'll,
remember the Jags?
I did it every single kickoff. I'm sorry?
Jags
exactly. And I did it.
You would do it before kickoffs?
Oh, every single one. And I couldn't help but think, I'm killing so many brains. Like, this can't be healthy for me. But I still did it. You know, I don't know.
Hey, we got to take a break. Tuesdays from Topgolf continues. Brett Martin, Austin Lane, Josh Scobee. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show here on a Tuesday in Jacksonville.
Keep climbing.
It's intercepted. Picked off of the 12. He will go down. He finds the promised land. Touchdown, FSU.
This is your home for FSU football.
Outside the numbers to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's a touchdown, Florida State. Intercepted. Picked off of the 33-yard line. Noles win.
Catch live coverage of the Seminoles all season long, right here on your home for Florida State football.
Sponsored by Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes.
Here in the Sunshine State, more than 3 million men are over age 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're having problems in the bedroom and pills like Viagra have let you down, you'll see results at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your exam is free. And it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. Guaranteed results on your first visit or your exam is free. Call 904-664-8217.
Smoke for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue. And it is at Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Open 7 days a week. Try the smoked wings, southern sides, and big old platters. Trivia night and kids eat free specials during the week. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all events. Order online and skip the line. Visit williejewells.com to see other locations in Florida and Georgia. Yulee to St. Augustine, Brunswick, and Kingsland. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoke for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
People are still hesitant to come to the shop.
We built a place that people could come and join and meet each other and talk to one another.
Small businesses are the heart and soul of a community.
Hi, I'm Representative Kat Kamak. During these times, it's important to support your local small businesses. They are the core of our communities and keep us connected.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Temperatures keep climbing and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Are you bored from being bored? Then put a little excitement in your life in a great pre-owned from Arlington Toyota. Our friends over at Arlington have over 400 used available. 400! All makes and models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. I'm excited. Are you excited? Then shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
Hey, boss, I found some silverware in the dining room.
Nice. So you're sure you smashed the alarm system when we got here, right?
You mean that plug-and-play do-it-yourselfer? Yeah, it's dead. We got all the time we need.
Oh, look at this. The box the alarm system came in. Isn't this cute?
An alarm system in a box. Boss, I'll never understand why people don't just get a SafeTouch security system.
And they probably think they're saving money.
But that's the thing, they're not saving money.
You and I know that. Thankfully, these folks didn't. You know, there are a lot of great things that come from a box. This isn't one of them.
True.
Hey, let's just take a minute to appreciate that tonight, we don't have to worry about the Crooks or Us golden rule, stay away from SafeTouch houses. And remember, kids, boxes and alarm systems don't mix.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time in the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jax. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jax on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jax. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
He's pretty good. Him and his brothers, he got the whole posse came in. He gave us a great speech. He came on the ice. They grew up in Buffalo, right? So they're big hockey. They're big hockey guys. But he wanted to strap the pads on. Him and Vasi have been going back and forth. And the thing we were scared, he didn't put like the proper knee protection on. He just had the pads, so his knees were like exposed. So we're like, guys, this was before the season. We're like, whatever you do, we cannot hit Gronk in the knee. Like, we don't need someone taking Gronk down right before they try to defend the Super Bowl title. So we took it easy on him a little bit.
All right. I can't figure out who that was. Obviously, the context was around Gronk and hockey. Casey?
That's the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steven Stamkos.
Oh, very good. Stamkos. Got to get your Lightning in there some way.
Got to.
Shape or form.
Wait, so can Rob Gronkowski skate?
That's what it sounded like.
Huh. I'd like to see that.
Big hockey guy.
Yeah.
He'd be an enforcer if he joined the NHL.
Without a doubt. Got to be.
I tell you, I said this earlier in the show. I think Rob Gronkowski, I was watching him last night with those guys, Manning and Manning. I think he's like the smartest guy in the world in this sense. He knew his body was done, and he took a year off, and I don't know if he planned to come back, but in the back of his mind, he had to know that he might be able to come back. But he would not have been able to. Most people would just push through, right? Let me see if I got one more year.
Yeah.
Well, he might be better this year right now than he was last year, and maybe even better than he was 4 years ago.
Well, I'm not sure if he's still with that CBD company that he was with.
I know.
But you want to talk about in terms of promotion, he's the classic example right there. The dude's on fire right now. I mean, how old is he? I think he's older than I am.
He's like 32.
Yeah, he's up there with me.
He's actually younger than you.
Younger than me, okay. Well, he's up there regardless.
But he looked like he was 40 playing, right, at his last year.
He's really stiff, and it looks like he's probably 10, 15 pounds lighter than he was before he retired.
And what's he got, 4 touchdowns already or something?
Yeah, only 4 through 2 games. And Brady's on pace for 77 touchdowns, and he's on pace for 34 touchdowns. So
You know what's amazing in the NFL? The NFL is built on parity. So you get all these different teams up and down all the time. But the difference between what good looks like and what not good looks like, what the Jags and the Jets are doing right now, and what like the Chiefs and the Bucs are doing right now, it's unbelievable.
night and day. Yeah.
Like, I don't think the gap is really that far, but it looks that far.
It does. I mean, every game, and I'm sure you guys can agree with me on this, but when we watch the Jaguars, especially these first 2 games, just how hard it looks for us on offense to complete a ball, to get a first down. And then when you watch night games, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and they complete, a 12-yard out route, any type of in route for a first down, you're like, wow, that looks really simple, and you don't even think very much of it. And that's the thing that the Jags aren't doing right now, is making the things that other teams make look really simple.
Well, and this is what I alluded to on Monday a little bit in terms of parity. Like, if you go around the league right now, every single team in the NFL, set aside from the Jaguars and the Falcons, they've either won a game or they've been close in a game in the fourth quarter. I can't say the same for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I get that they were down by 10, going into the fourth quarter, but it didn't seem like they were going to come back and win that game. It didn't even seem like being only down by 10 that they could come back and try to make it a ball game.
Yet the forever optimist in me doesn't feel like – I saw the 2013 Jags. That was a bad football team.
Thanks.
I don't think this is – that was
I was
a bad
on that
football
team. Yes, we were bad.
Historically bad.
Yes.
Like, they just weren't a lot of good players.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't feel that way about this team. I didn't feel that way last year, though. They went 1-15. So, I mean, who knows? It's hard to tell. Maybe the rest of the league's gotten so much better that the Jags bad is still bad, even though it's not as bad as it's been.
Yeah, they're going to be they're going to be bad until they're not.
Yeah,
so
well, that's true too, right? Good teams make plays, bad teams don't make plays. That's really as simplified as you can make it. Listen, I haven't seen my kids in days, so I don't have any dad stories today. You went to the press box.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just had like the golf tournament.
Oh,
stuff,
I got you. You're a busy man.
Scobee, you got a baseball story? You coaching baseball?
Yeah, I'm coaching. We were supposed to have our first game last night. Fortunately, it got rained out.
Of course.
My son wouldn't have been able to play anyway because he's been quarantined. But luckily, he'll be able to play in their makeup game next week. So, coaching. But, yeah, I'm just kind of we're talking about baseball earlier. And speaking of, like, family things, I made it a point to take my son to a couple, like, really nice baseball parks this summer. So we went to a Boston Red Sox game, and then we went to a Yankees game. So it was my wife, my 2 sons, and my brother-in-law, and a friend we have 2 friends that play for the Yankees. So one of them got us tickets to the game, and we were in like the second level of Yankee Stadium on the first base side, and we got there in the middle of the second inning, and when we got down to our seats, the guys next to us told us that Anthony Rizzo, who had just been traded there, had been throwing balls up there between innings, like just chucking balls up to that section. So we're like, no way. Sure enough, between innings, he throws one up there, and my brother-in-law sitting right next to me catches it. So we're pumped up.
That's awesome.
Same thing, next inning, throws another ball up there. I catch it, and I like dive for it. And, and then we
laid out.
Then we catch a foul ball later. So, I mean, we've got 3 balls in no time. What I failed to realize is who got us the tickets was Garrett Cole, and we were in the players' family section. So Anthony Rizzo's dad was sitting like 3 seats to our left, and he's trying to throw balls to his dad the whole time, and we're just grabbing them
like, no.
over and over. So
I'll take that
eventually
one.
his dad just left.
That's awesome.
And the people behind us were like, hey, that was Rizzo's dad. Yeah, we're stealing the balls from.
That is
So
terrific.
I'm like, hey, Mr. Rizzo, sorry. Like, threw him a ball.
That's great.
We felt so bad. But
that's a hell of a name drop, by the way, on Garrett Cole, too.
Yeah.
You get tickets.
Well, luckily you met him through friends. And
That's awesome.
Yes.
That
He was
is-
supposed to pitch that night, but he got COVID that morning.
Okay. That's a great story. It's just that the only bad part about that story, your kids are probably now Yankees fans. That's a fun
They're
day
not
at the park.
Yankees fans. They're Rays fans.
Okay.
So.
Oh, good for them.
wow.
That's cool. You and Casey, you
They
like
didn't
it.
even want to
Use them.
root for him.
That's
They
cool.
could
You
use
said
them.
what a great experience at a ball game. You still have
It was
that
really
at
cool.
baseball. It feels like more than other sports. It's still that romanticism. I mean, my best friend, he took his daughter to the Fenway Park Saturday on the jumbotron, got a ball, all this stuff.
whole
First game
experience.
ever. I mean, what an awesome first game, right?
Fenway was amazing.
And Fenway's
I
cool.
love that. We caught a
stayed
foul
for
ball
Sweet
there,
Caroline,
too.
right?
Yeah. Well, we stayed the whole time. Yeah.
You caught a foul ball at Yankee Stadium and at
Correct.
Fenway in the same
Same one.
summer?
We were walking out of the stadium, and this guy's like, hey, you guys caught a foul ball? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've been coming here my whole life. I've never caught one. I'm like, this is my son's first game.
The only time I've ever caught a ball was at the Shrimp.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because there was nobody near me.
Yeah.
It was
You-
raining on
yeah,
an
but-
afternoon businessman special. All right, we got to go. Tuesdays at Topgolf. Josh Scobee, Austin Lane. Casey, thanks for pushing the buttons. I'll bring you some food, Casey, especially since I'm late again.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
Brett Bartner. We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30. Have a good night, everybody.